I'm about to pass out.
Okay, sit.
No, don't do that. Yeah.
Ah! What is happening?
There we go.
I'm gonna say, thank you so much for joining us
We out.
today. Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Books and Looks. Today we have a very special guest, actually visiting us from another department. She's visiting us from HR. So I am going to let her introduce herself, tell you what she does in the city, and then she's also going to tell us what book she's going to be talking about today. And as usual, I'm going to get started. And I'm also going to put on my mask because I have pregnant girl allergies.
God bless. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Rachel. I work in human resources. I've been here with the city for 10 years now. I did my first 7 years in the city manager's office.
Oh, wow.
And then the last 3 years I've been in HR doing training and whatever else needs to be done. So lots of cool experiences. Today I will be discussing this fabulous book here, Iona Iverson's Rules for Commuting. Which I am looking forward to telling everybody about as we go along.
Of course. Okay, so you can start off by kind of just giving us a general understanding about what this book is about, maybe the genre.
Okay.
We can start with that.
I think it's fiction.
Okay.
It's sort of one of those just really summer escape reads. It was so much fun to read. Just really...
So is it like a romance?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, there was a romantic element, but I would never call it a romance book. I wouldn't put it in that genre, but
Okay.
there was some of that in there. So there was probably 5 or 6 characters, and it follows the story of all of those various characters in different ways.
Okay.
So you get all the different perspectives. Each one, it sort of starts the chapter and it'll put their name at the top and you kind of know that this chapter is from their perspective. So in a nutshell, it is centers on Iona Iverson, which is a 57-year-old advertising, marketing, public affairs guru. She lives in London and she rides the train every day to work.
Okay.
And along the way, the same people get off and on at every stop.
And it's the same people that are the perspectives of? Okay.
Yep. So
What time period is this set in?
Current, modern.
Okay.
Yeah. So like now.
Okay.
And she is being sidelined at her work because of her age. She's sort of not relevant anymore.
She's old.
Yeah. I know.
Rude.
So wrong. But she knows so much and she was like this it girl for so long and she's
Right.
kind of having a hard time of letting go of that. And she still feels relevant. So she's really sort of struggling with that. And she lays out all the characters. She has her own nicknames for them. So there's the sexist but smart man spreader. And there's the too good to be true nurse guy who's adorable and super sweet but like really shy, and then there's the impossibly pretty bookworm and all of those sorts of things. So she has these names for them, and then as the story goes on you sort of learn who these characters are and how their lives interact. So her rules for commuting are basically you stay in your lane, you stay in your seat, you sit in the same seat every time, and you don't talk to people, you don't make eye contact. This is like...
You're just going to work
Right?
and go.
Don't breach those rules, don't talk to me, I don't know you. So one day on the train, the sexist but super smart man spreader chokes on a grape.
Oh, no.
And
The nurse.
the nurse,
Yes.
right? So the impossibly pretty bookworm is like, oh my God, we need a nurse.
Help.
And the too good to be true nurse jumps up and is like, I can help. And so their lives kind of like all intersect in this one moment. And it sort of made them real to each other. And
So how was the marketing girl related to that situation?
she was sitting next to him and she was like whacking him on the back.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, somebody help. And so he came along and did the Heimlich and ultimately saved the day. But then they kind of all started noticing each other. And it really started with the marketing lady, who's Iona, who's the main character. And she was sort of like, because the next day the guy that was choking got on the train and acted like he didn't know her. And she's like, really? Really, we're going to be like this?
Yes.
So, and it just went from there.
You were choking.
Right, and you can't even say hi to me. So it just sort of went from there, and then every day more stuff happened, and you sort of start to get into these people's worlds. And I think what's really interesting about it is like when you look at somebody and all you know is that surface level stuff, you sort of write a story in your head
Yeah,
about
100%.
what their life is like. And it's like, oh, they're so lucky and they've got this and they've got that. And then you kind of see.
You people watch
Right?
and you just assume,
Yeah.
oh, they look like this. This must be their story.
They've never struggled in their whole life, right? They have everything. And so you kind of get that at the beginning. Iona's doing that with all the characters. They're all doing that with each other.
She's like, if only they knew what I go through. Yeah.
And the one guy that choked is a like a financial analyst or something. Anyway, he's got all of the top name brand everything. And so they're like, oh, of course he came from a wealthy family and he's never had to struggle, and that's just not the reality. So as they start to get to know each other, they start to realize the other people's lives aren't so perfect and aren't so put together, and they all have their own struggles, and it just sort of really humanizes them.
Yeah.
And brings them together until they almost become this family. They get really close at the end, and it's a really inspirational reminder for everyone to...
How cute is that?
Right? To just remember everybody else is human, and we're all carrying our own things, and when we carry it together, it kind of ends up better.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. Piers, who's the financial guy, he hates his job, he hates his life, he hates everything about it, and he actually got fired 3 months ago and has just been going to work on the train for the last 3 months because he doesn't want to tell us why.
Oh my gosh.
And then there's sweet little Martha. She's 15, and she made the mistake of sending...
She rides the train?
She does, to and from school. Her parents...
Oh, okay.
Well, her dad is not in the picture at all. Her mom is too busy hanging out with her boyfriend. And so...
Terrible.
Poor Martha sends an inappropriate picture to her boyfriend. And he is like, oh my gosh, this girl sent me a picture, and sent it to his friend. And his friend promptly posted it on somewhere, Instagram.
Of course.
I know, jerk.
Trash.
So she's that girl.
Just as I thought.
Right.
Trash.
I know. Innocently enough, she didn't intend for any of that to happen. So she's trying to figure out how to not be that girl anymore because she's getting bullied because of it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the too good to be true nurse, he has a crush on the impossibly pretty bookworm, but he can't tell her because she's engaged to be married to this other dude.
Oh, no.
I know, right? Drama, drama, drama. But it all works out in the end.
Oh, yes. So with makeup, have you ever been into makeup?
No.
Never?
No, I'm a super tomboy. My sister was way into it, but I didn't even have time to watch her do it. I didn't really care. I was too busy playing football with my brother.
Did you have a wedding?
Yes.
Did you get your makeup done?
Yes.
You did?
I did.
Did you feel weird? Or did they just do something very light?
it was pretty basic. It was like my friend did it, so.
What about prom? Did you go to prom?
I did go to prom. I think a friend probably did makeup there too. I don't know.
Let's talk a little bit about your reading style. What do you tend to pick up?
So I read to escape.
Okay.
So I like very safe books.
Okay.
I like books where I know it's going to end happily.
So you just don't like books that will make you cry?
Yeah. I mean, I'll read them every once in a while.
Okay.
Or scare me. I don't like to be scared.
Oh,
That stuff wakes me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just don't have time for that.
the scary stuff.
I'm elderly. I need my sleep.
Stop. You're not. So aside from this, what are you currently reading?
What am I reading? I usually have... So I have some favorite authors that I will reread repeatedly. So if I don't really have anything on my list of what I want to read, I'll probably go back and reread a series. So I read a lot of inspirational fiction, and I have a few favorite authors in there that I'll just kind of reread. So I just was rereading the Connie Lynn Cossett series. She's got a cool one. It's like ancient biblical stuff, but you read the Bible and there's like a verse here and a verse there. And I love it when people can weave a whole story out of two random things like that. So it's pretty interesting. And then, of course, I'm a huge Jane Austen fan. I will reread that all day long. I have all of her works at home on my shelf library.
You're a rereader.
I am a rereader. Agatha Christie, love.
I love Agatha Christie.
I reread her all the time. Who else do I love? Well, Sherlock Holmes. I love
Sherlock Holmes.
He's my faves. I reread him all the time too. Doyle is good.
So clearly y'all's reading styles in your family are different.
Yes. So my husband is the exact polar opposite of me in reading. He only reads for information and knowledge. Like to him,
to soak up his brain.
Yeah. And sometimes, because I've always got my face in a book, seriously, like I'll be cooking dinner, and if, I'm browning meat and I can stop for a minute to let it brown, I will open a book. I'll have it on the counter and I'll be reading. Or when I'm on the couch and they're all watching TV, I'll be reading a book. And he'll look at me and he'll be like, imagine how smart you would be if you would read other stuff that didn't rot your brain.
Informational stuff.
I'm like, zip it, Happy Meal.
She's like, imagine if you wouldn't read about train rides.
That's right.
Cute nurses.
That's right.
So, this book specifically, what made you pick this one up?
I had nothing to read, and I was asking my favorite librarians if they had any suggestions, and was told about this book. And so I was like, what the heck, I'll give it a try. I love happy, escapist stuff, and I was not disappointed. It's fabulous. It was a pretty quick read.
Of all the characters in the book, which one would you say was your favorite?
Oh, wow.
Like who every time that you were in their perspective, you were like, yay!
Man, that's hard, because they were all really good for different reasons.
I mean, sometimes that's great if you can like all of the characters.
That's really important to me, because if I don't like the people, if I don't like the characters, I have a really hard time getting into the book.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can go along with almost any plot, but if I'm not rooting for the people, I'm like, meh. So having good characters is really good. Probably, I guess the main character, Iona, just because she had so much going and was just getting sidelined because of her age. And I was like, man, that just feels so wrong, because, if you know stuff and you're good at your job, it shouldn't matter.
If you work in HR, right? You know that's wrong.
I'm just saying, I just think it's wrong just on every level, because those things just shouldn't come into play. But they do. That's the reality of the world that we live in. And I think it was really cool how it just was sort of resolved for her.
Yeah.
And of course I love Sanjay. He's the nurse. And he's a nurse in a cancer ward.
Oh.
And he loves his job and he loves helping people and he's really good at it. But he has panic attacks all the time.
Oh, wow.
Because he
is nervous about it.
Well, he takes it home with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you can get close to people and then just shut it off.
Yeah.
So he really struggles with that. And I think when you read things like that and you sort of internalize it, because we all sort of struggle with different things at different places, but I think a lot of us try to kind of put forward that face of everything's great.
Yeah.
My life is wonderful. And then, stuff's falling apart. So just being able to be with people that you can be real with, I think is so freeing. And I don't think we do it enough with each other. Oh my gosh, Lulu is her dog. Yes, I should talk about the dog. Okay, so Iona's dog is Lulu, and she's like a French bulldog or something like that, but she has her own little personality. And she gets her own seat on the train. And
so she takes her to work.
Yes, every day. And she carries her around, and Lulu has a very big personality and likes people or doesn't like people. Like if she growls at people, Iona's like, you're the devil, don't talk to me.
All right, and I think our look on Rachel is complete. She looks so beautiful and fabulous. I'm sitting on a chair because I almost passed out because I'm growing a child, and it's sometimes not fun. But Rachel looks fabulous. She looks great.
You did a wonderful job.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing this book with us.
Check it out. You should read it. It's great. It's Iona Iverson's Rules for Commuting by Clare Pooley.
Thank you so much for coming and sharing about this book with us, and we'll see you guys next time.